Oh, please. Okay, go. Okay, go.
Ruby, can you go put your hand on
You
it?
can do this. You would have had to do it in front of the whole graduation people.
It's less than today because you can't see their faces. Like,
okay. All right.
Believe me when I say I never thought I would be here. These last couple of years has changed the way I see the world and the way the world sees me. Just a couple of years ago, I was ashamed of my dyslexia and I thought I was never going to get a job or be able to grow up on my own. Now I'm here graduating from Charles Armstrong School, proud of my dyslexia and my ability to manage it through the school day and confident in my ability to manage it independently and at a new boarding school community in New Hampshire. I started out at our local elementary school up until the 5th grade. This is when I found out I had dyslexia. I thought I was stupid and I was highly embarrassed. My parents immediately tried to get me into a special school for learning differences in the city, and I hated it. I made no friends, and I was never able to be myself. Most of all, I felt even stupider because of the things I was learning in 6th grade I had learned in 4th. I would cry every night in my room trying to stay quiet, and sometimes I would want to run away because I didn't know what to do with myself. I was meeting with therapists all the time, and I was a mess. I felt like people were consistently trying to figure out what to do with me, and I felt useless. Often other people, teachers, counselors, specialists, and my parents thought they knew what was best for me and didn't even try to hear me out. I felt like an object. In the 3rd quarter, I was able to go back to my old school. It was not easy, and we had to fight hard to get me back. I felt a little better, and I was able to be myself at school, but my teachers were treating me unfairly and didn't bother to help me ever. They would never use their free time to help me, but they were happy to with other students. During conferences, they would talk about the things they could do to help me and the accommodations they would give me, but they never actually did what they said they would do. My mom would tell them every time at the conference that nothing was changing and that I was getting none of the accommodations they said they would give me, but the same response came back every time, and nothing would change. When a test was handed back, I would be graded for spelling and extra time I was supposed to receive, and the extra time I was supposed to receive was non-existent. In Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the little girl finds 3 bowls of porridge. The first one she tastes is too cold. Then after looking around some more, she found the second bowl of porridge and ended up being too hot. So she didn't give up and kept looking and eventually found the perfect bowl. I felt like this related to my story and how I got to Armstrong, and I'm sure a lot of this class can relate to this too. Even having been at Armstrong for only 2 years, I know that this was the perfect fit for me, and I believe there's no other school I can do what Armstrong can do. By balancing rigor and structure, Armstrong taught me how to work with my dyslexia and gave me strategies I can use every day for the rest of my life. I could talk for hours about what I went to get to Armstrong, but all I know is that the day I got into Armstrong was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, even though I didn't know it at the time. The day my mom told me I had gotten into Armstrong, I was in so much pain with school that I was willing to do it, but I was also scared out of my mind that it would be another bad experience like the school in the city. I put myself out there and started fresh the first day of Armstrong. Ever since then, I've been the happiest I've been in a long time. Armstrong challenged me, made me stronger with my writing, reading, math, and social studies, and helped me during hard times that had nothing, even if it had nothing to do with my schoolwork. Now I not only have the good education I need, but I'm leaving Armstrong proud of my dyslexia and not ashamed of it, which I used to be and thought I would always be. I want to thank someone who's been there for me every day of my life and who suffered through the crying, the fighting, the whining, the sass, all these years. I want to thank my mom. My mom was there for me when I came home crying about the mean girls at school. My mom was there when I couldn't put up with my teachers. My mom was there when I was at that horrible school in the city and I didn't want to interact with the kids in the morning. So she sat with me on the bench every day until the bell rang so I wouldn't feel alone. Thank you, Mom, for always being there. 2 years ago at my old school, someone said to my face that I would not be able to get into boarding school. But here I am now, graduating, and my next step will be at boarding school. I feel proud to turn that around and not only prove them wrong, but prove myself wrong. Because a couple years ago, I didn't think I could either. Like Goldilocks, it took me a while to find the perfect place. First, I went to a school that was too hot and wouldn't help me and beat me down. Then I found a school that was too cold, where I didn't learn anything. Finally, I found Armstrong, which was just right. I read a quote recently that I think everyone can relate to at some point in their lives, especially anyone who attended Armstrong. It reminds me that failures and challenges have brought me to where I am today. I have endured pain and loss, I have felt broken, I have known hardship, and I have felt lost and alone. But here I stand trying to move forward one day at a time. I'll remember the lessons in life because they are making me who I am, stronger, a warrior.
Oh.
Great.
Wow. Beautiful. Oh, that was so
Cute.
cool.
So good.
Oh my God.
Eloquent.
Wow.
Very.
Tissues.
So good. Oh my goodness.
It's so beautifully produced. Thank you.
It was the greatest graduation.
Thank you.
Like, it was stories like that. It was one after another.
Wow.
Just